West Midlands Police found footage of the moment a gunman opened fire with a shotgun at a rival group in a Black Country car park. Tyjon Cogger drove a stolen Ford Kuga to the scene next to the Farmfoods in Smethwick for Saabir Mohamed to get out and blast the men in the leg and foot. The victim, who had tried charging him down with a baseball bat, was dropped off at an Audi in the city hospital with gunshot wounds, but he refused to tell police what had happened. However, officers conducted a major trawl of CCTV and tracked the Audi back to Cape Hill Resale Park, where CCTV captured the shooting in the early hours of October the 23rd last year. It was further revealed that the incident had been in retaliation for Cogger's friend being stabbed around 24 hours earlier, shortly before midnight on October the 21st. That victim was also taken to City Hospital, where he was targeted again in the hospital. A group of males turned up in a Mitsubishi armed with baseball bats, but fortunately police were already at the scene and the hospital was forced into lockdown. An investigation into that incident remains ongoing, and there was no evidence to suggest that Cogger and Mohamed were present. Following a trial at Birmingham Crown Court, the pair were held responsible for the subsequent shooting. Cogger, who's 22, and Mohamed, who's 26, were cleared of attempted murder but found guilty of possession of a firearm with the intent to endanger life, and they're going to be sentenced on the 3rd of October. Police established after the shooting, the Kuga was driven away from the scene and the defendants got into a Mercedes, which Cogger was caught refilling with fuel on a petrol station CCTV. Detective Inspector Francis Knock from West Midlands Police's Major Crime Unit said, "Officers worked extremely hard to piece together what happened and spent hundreds of hours reviewing CCTV footage. It's down to their hard work that we identified Cogger and Mohamed. Now we brought them to justice, and these men were very dangerous individuals." So the force stated that the convictions fall under Operation Target, which combats serious and organised crime across the region of the West Midlands. And guys, in this next news story, a football international who flooded London with Class A drugs has been jailed for more than 11 years. Former Atletico Madrid youth player Jason Pusey, who's 34, was caught after police cracked the EncroChat messaging system favoured by criminals in the UK. The centre-back, who won 4 caps for his international side, used the handle Irregular Fog on the encrypted app to supply drugs worth £3 million through a network of London-based dealers. Pusey was investigated in June 2020 after EncroChat was taken down after an international police operation. Messages retrieved from his phone related to the importation of Class A drugs into the UK, as well as the routes used by an army of smugglers and couriers in early 2020. Pusey was arrested at his home in York on the 20th of June last year. He was jailed for a total of 11 years and 3 months after he admitted conspiracy to supply 107 kilos of coke, 245 kilos of ket, and 447 kilos of cannabis. Pusey began his career at Atletico Madrid C in 2007 and also played for Cadiz. The defender made his debut for Gibraltar against Bosnia in 2017 and then made some further appearances. Detective Constable Duncan Askew, responsible for the investigation from the Met Specialist Crime Team, said Pusey arranged large-scale drug deals while also maintaining a well-respected football career. On the surface, he was a loving and doting man, but he was making millions sending commercial-scale amounts of controlled drugs into South London gangs. He did all this with no thought of the misery and devastation caused in London communities by drug supply and the violence it leads to. Said Operation Eternal investigations over the last 3 years have resulted in the Met identifying and jailing major players of the criminal fraternity and stemming the flow of drugs and guns onto the streets. The drugs trade relies upon exploitation of violence to operate, and we will continue to relentlessly pursue those involved and put them before the courts. EncroChat, as we know, became a standard messaging platform for organised crime where criminals made about massive drug deals, laundered money, and discussed extortion, kidnapping, and assassinations. And as we know, the app was taken down after an operation between the NCA, which is dubbed Britain's FBI, the French National Gendarmerie, and the Dutch police in April 2020. Former police officer who married a murderer has been jailed for helping him smuggle drugs into jail. Stephanie Heaps, was 32, has been jailed for 4 years after she helped Leon Leighton Ramsden whilst he was serving a life sentence at HMP Wimott. The pair first got together in March 2018 after Heaps took a job as a prison officer in the jail where he was serving a minimum of 17 years for killing Paul Gilligan at a pub in Bolton. She would warn him about upcoming cell searches and with a gang of associates helped him launder money from his £12,700 drug empire with £3,000 passed on to Heaps. She then joined Greater Manchester Police as a PC in July 2019 and failed to declare her links to Ramsden. Heaps even failed to arrest a wanted domestic abuse suspect as they were an associate of Ramsden. Officers only uncovered the pair's relationship after a tip-off in September 2019. Heaps visited Ramsden in prison regularly and shared sensitive police information on illegal phones. She was arrested in January 2020 and October 2022, pleaded guilty to a number of offences including misconduct in a public office as a police officer and a prison officer, conspiracy to commit burglary and conspiracy to transfer, conceal and convert criminal property. Ramsden was sentenced to 5 years and 7 months to run concurrently with his murder sentence. Detective Chief Inspector Jennifer Adams of Greater Manchester Police's Anti-Corruption Unit said, "During our investigation, we were shocked by the actions of Stephanie Heaps and her brazen disregard for the standards required for both her role in the police and the prison service. As soon as we were made aware of Heaps' potential relationship with Ramsden, we conducted a number of detailed inquiries to ensure that the maximum amount of evidence about her offending could be collated so she could be held accountable for the full extent of her crimes." And in this next news story, an e-scooter riding drug dealer was stopped and found with a Rambo knife hidden inside his trousers. Dylan Farah, who's 20 years old, was arrested in Peterborough on the 20th of April this year by neighbourhood policing officers who were on plaid-clothed cycle patrols because of concerns around drug dealing in the area. The two officers spotted what they believed to be a drug deal by Farah, who was on an electric scooter, but Farah attempted to ride away. Farah was searched and found to have a Rambo knife in his waistband and 37 wraps of Class A drugs in his jacket pockets. At Peterborough Crown Court this week, he was sentenced to 4 years in prison, having previously admitted possession with intent to supply cocaine and heroin, possession of a knife in a public place, and possession of cannabis. He has also had 6 penalty points added to his driving licence for riding an e-scooter without insurance. Detective Constable Emily Richardson, who investigated, said Farah made several attempts to get away but was safely restrained, leading to officers uncovering the drugs and weapons. We understand hearing about incidents where weapons are involved is concerning, which is why we need the public's help to tackle this issue and pass on any info about people who may be carrying weapons. So guys, there's a number of stories coming out from the streets of the UK. Once again, if you already haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. Please give this video a little like as it will help with the algorithms. It's your boy GT. Keep it locked, keep it real.